All right, welcome to my campaign test of the campaign The Big Show from Reflected Simulations for DCS. I will, first of all, of course, test the campaign, tell you my personal opinion about the missions and the campaign itself. And I will use this opportunity to use these videos as a kind of Spitfire tutorial. So if you want to start flying the Spitfire in DCS, this might come in handy for you. First, I have to trim the aircraft. Then the takeoff is much easier. So I trim to the right so that this knob is turning here, and I trim it that far. It's enough for me to have a good start and not too much retrimming after takeoff. And I will trim nose down a little bit. Here where the mouse pointer is now placed, I trim it nose down like this. It's fine for me. You can try it out yourself then. Then one other thing which I prefer to doing in VR is to disable the mouse. I'll show you why. I have some buttons on my throttle mapped with the mouse buttons, and so now I can control the mouse cursor with my head. So let's continue. I open the oil dilution cover, and I then put my RPMs to the maximum, my RPM lever to the maximum. This is this lever here, and I open the throttle to the maximum for now. Then I tune the right channel in the radio, as it is described in the kneeboard. That we use channel B for the moment. Then I switch on the magnetos.
All clear! Switch is on!
That's nice. And maybe I should say, this is maybe not the absolutely realistic way of the cold start, but it's working well. Then I turn on the navigation lights and the gun sight. Now I open the booster coil and the start cover. And as I have an external tank, this one here in the middle of the aircraft down, on the downside, I need to activate here the fuel flow for my external tank. And I leave the fuel flow for the internal tank closed for the moment. Then I prime the engine. And I wobble to get fuel pressure. And then this warning lamp should turn off. now, and this is fine. And I will activate my fuel pump so that the external tank fuel pump is activated. And now we can I can start the engine. First of all, I put in the wheel brake. And of course, I need to close the throttle much more. So I will close it completely and turn it on a little bit. So it's open now a little bit. And now I will start the aircraft while I press these two buttons together. So you have to map it. And if the motor ignites, you push this lever forward. Wobble a little bit and bring back the RPM to 1500. I would recommend, and close the radiator covers, so then the engine will warm up easy and fast. If needed, you can wobble some more till the engine runs smoothly. Close the covers. So I think I'm good to go. My wingmen are ready too, and the main group is already orbiting the airfield. So I will now check here the temperatures. You should always keep the motor warming up at least 30 seconds. Yeah? Otherwise, you can really kill the engine.
Enfield 2-1. Fort, clear to taxi to runway 57. 2, rolling.
Taxi with a small
3, rolling.
brake inputs and rudder inputs at the same
4,
time.
rolling.
Now I will close the canopy and lift off while starting.
87. 2, rolling.
While starting, you need to dance on the rudders, right? Not full power, full boost. This is fine. I'm airborne, so I will now bring up the gears. Gears up, that's fine. Now I have to rendezvous with the group and with my wingman. At the moment I cannot see them. It's sadly a pain in VR. Often it is very difficult to spot planes. Even if you have good computer hardware and good VR headset, the engine I think makes it difficult to spot planes in VR. So as I have checked from several sources, real pilots and so on, spotting planes in reality must be a little bit easier than in DCS in VR. So, like I said, I'm missing the big group at the moment. With them, I need to fly. So, let's check the clock on the kneeboard. Yeah, I'm over the time. They have started already. So let's fly 110. I will bring now back my boost and increase RPM to maximum. So the main goal is to keep the temperatures low so that you have enough capacities left when you enter any combat. If your plane is already very hot then, or the oil pressure is very high, you are not quite well prepared for a dogfight. So always monitor, check regularly your temperatures, oil temperature, radiator temperature, and oil pressure. And if the temperatures or pressure gets too high, then you need to do something against it. For example, oil pressure, you can use the oil dilution button here down left where I already have opened the cover. Then you will be able to hopefully drop your oil pressure. And if the temperatures are too high, you need to fly slower or faster. You always want to have enough air running through the radiators and open the never forget, like me now, open put the radiator flap button to the automatic position. I mean this one here, because otherwise your engine gets very hot. So it's a danger if you close this flap, this radiator flaps for the startup to bring the temperature up. Then you must be remembering yourself very strictly to bring it to the automatic position after takeoff. Otherwise you would kill your engine because of overheating. But if you check your temperatures, like I said, regularly, then all is fine. Okay, next thing is you need to trim the aircraft always properly, in a proper way, so that you are aerodynamic. If you are not trimmed aerodynamic, climbing, for example, is much more difficult, and you are slow, and you cannot climb, for example, with the AI if you're not trimmed correctly.
4, rolling.
So I will now turn off my navigation lights.
4, wheels up.
It's this knob here. I have mapped it on my throttle. We fly low, so that the enemy early warning radar is not picking up our groups, our aircrafts. But as in the Niebot mentioned, we will fly later at a certain point at 25,000 feet. So, and that high we then need the pitot heating, we need oxygen, And here I think I see our aircraft. And yep. The trim state of your aircraft you see here. This is the arrow for the side slip, and this is the arrow for the trim of the turn. Here you see your speed, here the altitude, here if you are climbing or descending, here the engine's RPM, and this is the boost. And here you can put the supercharger to manual mode. This can be interesting if you want to fly with very low boost, and if for example your temperatures are very high, then I think this could be used in a way to bring the temperatures down, but the main time you can leave it, I think, in automatic mode, and the second gear will only kick in at higher altitudes, so that the boost can be increased if you fly high. Here you see the oxygen level. I mean the available level of the oxygen. This radio transmission is not able to understand, have no clarity on this one. If you are able to get this transmission in a clear way, let me know in the comments. It would be interesting. I was never able to receive this message and the next one, if I remember correctly, in a clear way. Okay, as I have told before, I left the main fuel tank shut off. So at a certain time in this flight, the external tank will be empty. I need to fly a little bit faster, 1 second. To catch up with the rest of the group. So what I want to say, at a certain time in this flight, the external tank will be empty and the main fuel tank is shut off. Then I of course need quickly to activate this main tank, but then I know exactly the time when the external fuel tank is empty, and then I can drop it. It's the only benefit if you do it like this. You can put on both tanks, and then you need to pickle the external tank whenever you have the feeling that it is empty. I know no possibility how to check the fuel level on the external tank. If you have an idea or know how to do this, let me know in the comments. I do not know if this is possible. I think it's not possible. Only thing you can check is the internal fuel level, and this is done with this knob here. you press it down, keep it pressed, then you see the fuel level of the internal main tank. But external tank, like I said, I have found no possibility to check the fuel level. Okay, the gun side, you can here configure the range in this first row, and in the second row you can pre-select the wingspan of the target, and then your guns and cannons should hit at this pre-selected range. The bullets come together because they all arranged forward. So in the Spitfire you will often have the problem that you hit the target, but in an ineffective way. First of all, the normal machine gun is not a very effective caliber, and if you only hit with one cannon or with one of the machine guns, for example, then of course the effect is less as if you hit with all of them the same target point. So this is in the theory important to configure correctly, but at least in my case in VR, I have the feeling at least that if I don't configure nothing, predefine nothing on the range and wingspan, I hit more often as if I configure it. So in 2D it's maybe different. Check it out. Let me know what works better for you. But in my case I leave it as it is and shoot by feeling and tracer. So our group is now climbing, so I will activate now pitot heating and oxygen. And I climb now. Optimal climb speed is 180, and like I said, trimmed out the aircraft in a good way, so that you have the best climbing performance. Here you see the trim state of nose up, as I have forgotten to say before. Don't climb too aggressive, and apply enough boost to do the climb, and aim for the 180 miles per hour. Again, I have lost the visual contact with my group. I hope I find them again. If you want to make it easier for yourself, of course you can activate the symbols. Then it's much more easier to spot planes and ground targets. But of course, it's much more unrealistic. So it's up to you. Whenever you are changing boost RPM, or in other words, whenever you're changing your speed and or your height or the direction you're flying to, you may need to retrim. Keep this in mind. Or not only may, you need to retrim. Keep this in mind, especially while climbing. Never let the speed drop below the 160 while climbing. Like I said, you always want to have enough air running through the radiators. If you're too slow, the temperatures will rise dramatically. Here, now they are marking, they are high enough, so they are now, of course, more easy, much more easy to spot than without the marking. Of course, this could be a different group of planes. I'm not 100% sure, of course, but let's see what I can find out. And here, this land formation there. Now the external tank was empty, so I needed quickly to activate the internal tank. And I will now jettison pickle the external tank. So it's gone. See now in the aircraft.
Hello, Brutus.
The tank is away.
Channel C, Charlie. Hello, Zona. Brutus answering. Channel Charlie, over. Hello,
We
British.
switch to Channel Charlie.
Hello, British leader. Grass seed calling. There is plenty going on over the target. Steer 096. There are 40 plus bandits 15 miles ahead of you. Angels 35, over to you.
Hello, Grass Seed. Brutus answering. Steering 096. Roger. Out.
So this lamp here is now on, so that the second gear has kicked in. This is for your optical reference or warning. Not warning, I would say a reference that the
Hello,
second gear is
formation, go.
You can see another group of aircraft marking at my 11 o'clock.
All
So-
Brutus aircraft, keep your eyes open.
This could be, of course, the enemy. So let's activate the weapons. And I would tell my wingmen that they should cover me.
Flight, cover me. Roger.
So the fourth wingman in this mission starts very, very late, too late. I think this is maybe a design issue of this mission. Let me know if it is the same way as you have played this mission of the campaign. But here, if you wait for the fourth wingman to join your group, then I think you arrived the rendezvous point too late. So I have to live with two wingmen.
Look out, Brutus leader. Grass seed calling. 3 gaggles of 20 plus converging towards you. Above.
Look out, British. 01 point. Smoke train coming. 3 o'clock.
Brutus calling. Open your eyes and prepare to break port. The bastards are right above us. Gentlemen, break starboard.
Okay, I will use oil dilution to bring down the oil pressure. And now we enter the fight. A lot of enemy planes as it seems, so this is not easy. I need to make sure that nobody gets behind me. It will get difficult.
Good. Attention. Break.
Great blue fall.
Tu l'as eu. Super, very good shooting.
Engaging bandits.
Get the bastard off my tail.
Never stayed too long. It was already very long on one enemy, so that nobody is able to get behind you and in shooting position. So this was already too long, right?
Flight, cover me. Roger.
Nice hits from my wingman. You should do the job. Oh, now I have a problem.
That is exactly the problem if you stay too long with one enemy. Okay, here comes my feedback of the campaign, or of the mission from this campaign. So, first of all, I think the difficulty is really high. This mission is really not easy. At least for me, it was not easy. And you should know this, that you may either skip this mission if you don't succeed in the mission, or you have to try it several times. Okay, that's the first point. Second point, I was not able to see the bombers, which in the mission story we would guide home, or which our group has to guide home. So I did not see them. And so it wasn't, in the end, not a very fun mission. It was like you're flying a long time to a certain point, then there's a big group of enemies, all fighters, and a big fight with AI is happening. Problem is that the AI is in DCS very good at gunfighting. So the chance that the AI hits you with the machine guns or the cannon is very high. And of course, this would be great if all these aircrafts are flown by humans. But it's not the way, as it is of course AI. And so this is not very... It was not so interesting or good for me. Because, yeah, like I said, in DCS there is no chance that the AI is not very good at gunfighting. If they shoot, they normally will hit you. Anyway, that's the way it is. And last thing is the realism of this mission is difficult for me to judge in the end, but I think why should there have been such a fighter against fighter dogfight without any benefit? What I mean is, if there would be bombers to protect, okay, then it's clear. Or if there's any mission goal to achieve by this dogfight, then it's fine. But on the other hand, but if there's not such a reason why you should go in such a dogfight, then I think it is not super realistic. How to explain? I think, or as I have read, dogfighting was not so usual as in films or here in this mission. If there's a benefit out of the dogfight, then yes, but only a dogfight for a kind of fighter sweep. Of course, this has been there, but yeah, I don't know if this is super realistic or not. Anyway, for me, the mission was not so much fun, so I would rate it from 1 to 1 is the best, 6 is the worst, so I give a 3. But of course, I'm interested in your opinion. If you have already bought this campaign and flown the mission, so let me know. What do you think about difficulty level? And of course, let me know what do you think about the realism of this mission. And I hope this was helpful for you, even if I was shut down in the end. So write it in the comments. And if you like to, we see each other in mission number 2.